welcome to our new batch of architect homes. These are just fresh out of the oven, and of course, I am Elissa, and I will be your tour guide on these very expensive architect homes. I should take some time to warn you to have your anxiety meds ready because we are in for a treat. Okay, now for our first home on our stop of architect homes, we have this one right here. And on this home, I have no idea why the hell that there are plants in the hallway. That just makes no sense to me. Those are outside plants, but that is my opinion. As we go upstairs through this elevator, we come into a hallway where there looks like there's not a door, but I'm sure there is. But I just can't see it because I'm blind as a bat. I like the outside, but the home, for inventory purposes, I would rate that home a 0. And for the layout, I would rate it a 2. Okay, my sim friends, for house number 2, we have this elegant house right here that has a pool around it. I like the idea of the pool around it, but this is just making no sense. I'm assuming that it is meant to be a tiny home, but I could be way wrong. And for inventory, I would rate this a 2. And for layout, I would rate it a 1. But that is my opinion. But pay close attention to the inventory in this home. For our next home, my sim friends, we have this home right here. This home, I didn't know what to think of it. But it looks like that we've had this house before, but I could be wrong. For inventory, I would say a 0, but for layout, I would say a 3. Up next on our tour of very expensive architect homes, we have this beautiful home right here. And this home I actually do like because I think it looks really nice. Now, once we get to the inside, I have a few things to say. Like how the home makes sense. It makes a lot of sense, like there is actually a family who lives here. I do think the front porch is a little bit much with 2 swings, but that is my opinion. And I don't like those rugs, but again, that's my opinion. But I like the kitchen. And here is a basement. Now, I can get that this is a kids area, which I like. But as you go upstairs, you come into, I don't know what. I'm guessing it's a master suite. Red with the black is kind of creepy. But for inventory, I would say that this house is a 0. And for the layout, I would say it's a 6. For our next stop on our tour of very expensive architect homes, we have this home right here. This home, I am pretty sure, is a repeat. I like the layout of it, but again, I think it's a repeat. And you can build this house for way cheaper than $30,000 million, however much it costs. But here's the house. I don't like it, but that's my opinion. For inventory and for layout, I would say a 1. Now for our next stop on our tour of architect homes. I hope you're having fun. Now, we have this home right here. This home is a beautiful 3-story home, which I actually kind of like this one. And I usually don't like big homes like this. But I will say to keep a close eye on this house for inventory. And I like the pine cone staircase, and I like the layout of this house. I think it's nice. I do not like the basement. I find it kind of creepy, but that is my opinion, even though it's bright. And for the upstairs, we have a closet and a bathroom and a bedroom. But again, for inventory, I would rate this house a 3, and for layout, I would rate this house a 5. Now, as we move on to this next house, it kind of looks like a jail with these windows, but that is my opinion, and I, could be way off. Now, as you enter into the home, it kind of makes sense how it's set up. There's a dining room, a kitchen, and there's a living room with not much in it, and a bathroom downstairs, so that actually makes sense. Now, as you go up the stairs, you see a bedroom and a bathroom and some empty hallways, which I'm guessing was the game. Now, for inventory, I would say that this house is a 1. And for the layout, I would say it's a 3. But I must say, I do not like the basement. Now, next up on our lovely architect home tour, we have this house right here. This house, at my first glance, I was like, what the hell is this? I wasn't sure. But I must say that the layout is quite interesting. Now, I think that the plants in the front are a little bit too much, but I do like how they had used a mixture of the older items along with the newer items. I think it looks nice that way, but I also think that this house is a little bit too overcrowded, but that is my opinion because I hate clutter. It makes me anxious. And this kitchen, really, no, it has to go. I mean, I don't like the counters. I don't. Now, when you go up the stairs, there are some nice items in here. As I said, a mixture of the older and the newer items. Now, these doors in the game, I don't like them. I know they're old and I've never been a big fan. So, I would say for inventory that this house would be a 1 or a 2. Like, it depends on what you have in your inventory. And for the layout, I would say it's a 2. And for our next home on our stop of architect homes here in Simtown, we have this home right here. I think this home is a repeat. There's a lot of windows, a lot, but I do like how they all match. But this house is definitely a repeat. I think it's a little bit too much, but that is my opinion. But it's definitely a repeat, as I've said twice before. Now, they have that garden like they had in the last batch of architect homes, the same kitchen. I think they changed up the rooms a little bit, it seems like. But for inventory, I would rate this house a 1. And for the layout, I would rate it a 1. Now, all of these repeats are just getting old. Please, have some new homes. Next on our stop of architect homes, we have this home right here. I wasn't sure what this was. It looks like a retreat place, but I could be wrong. Now, I do like the front. I think it's interesting. This house is interesting. The items in it are newer. So, if you don't have any of these items, this may be a good home for inventory. And as you go up the stairs, it's just one room. Go up the stairs and there's an office outside. Now that really makes no sense, but okay. Now, when you go into I don't know, this makes no sense whatsoever. That's all I'm gonna say. For inventory, I would rate this house a 3. And for the layout, I would rate it a 3. But that is my opinion. Next up on our fine tour of architect homes, we have this house right here. This house really, I didn't know what it was. I was getting very anxious at this point. But there's a basement that is a toddler's room. I would not have a toddler sleep in a basement, but that is my opinion. Now, as you go up the stairs, there is another room for the toddler, which leads into the basement. That is just kind of creepy. I mean, a toddler's like what, 2? Why would you have them go and sleep in? Oh, okay. Now, here is a laundry room. I wish I had the size of a laundry room. That is nice. Now, as you go through these doors, you come into a dining and a living room and a kitchen all in one. I must say I do like that. I would switch up the toddler's room because that's just creepy. And as you go outside, there's a patio, another room. There's just a lot of rooms in this house. And to me, it's just making no sense whatsoever. No. But for inventory, I would rate this house a 3 or a 4. It depends on what you have. And for layout, I just don't know what to say. Maybe a 3. Excuse me, I need some hydroxyzine and a coffee. For our next stop on our tour of architect homes, it is actually the last house. This last house is a monstrosity. I really needed a extra dose of my hydroxyzine at this point. Now, when you enter into the house, it's a mess. Just, no, this is bad. But that is my opinion. I will say that I think that this house can be changed into something nicer. But it's really a mess. There really aren't any inventory items in here. Maybe a few, but not much. But it depends on what you have in your game. Now pay close attention to the pinecone staircase. That is not available in the game. Now, when you go up the stairs of this house, there's a lot of empty spaces and just some spaces that really just make no sense. Again, that's just me. I'm assuming that this is a bar area with a fortune teller thing and a bathroom. Now, again, when you go up the stairs, there's a lot. There's just a lot going on in this house. I think it's too expensive, and for inventory, it's not worth it. I would rate this house for inventory, I would rate this house a 1. And for layout, I would say a 0. And that was the last stop of our architect home tour. There are 12 houses on the large lot, and overall, I don't think they're worth it.